things off on that defending side, and of course that then means EDG get to dictate that pace on the attack.
Slow start actually here from EDG. Do have a little bit of pressure from Chichu towards Arcade, potentially when contact comes through here. Well, Sire's going to be able to really have a say in this, because there's not going to be too, well, I was going to say EDG. Forced away by the smoke, actually. A big gap towards A site, but no control of Dish as of yet. EDG just invest all in towards main here.
And T1 feeling no necessity to move just yet, not going to bring that additional player back towards A. Leaving a lot towards Munchkin in his capability here. He's posted up on it, does have a turret as well. That should be ringing the alarm bell. Smoke soon to follow as well, just going to be littering the side. This will be instantly a retake. It's more kind of looking towards the likes of Chichu maybe to try and find something here. Again, this shouldn't be a problem just yet.
I was going to say, how late does Chichu actually sit on this? Because Munchkin's coming to hard clear, and he's so deep here. He's going to find him. Chichu completely unaware, but still gets the kill.
That's unbelievable. Now T1, how much value can they get? Nothing. Nobody takes down 2, maybe even 3 actually, tell a lie. And it's left Ban with everything in front of him. 4 players to try and locate. And that fumble up by Dish could definitely haunt them here. And feeling almost like it's impossible. Just being chipped away at by Smoggy. You keep everyone else holding that cross. EDG got everything they wanted on that start.
It doesn't really come down to much, but Munchkin, with a good read on the situation, obviously, to come through and remove that possibility of EDG having a little more control on the north side, but this swing through the smoke, 3 players of T1 fall as they try to collapse on Sands. Unfortunate turn of events here. Looks like T1 might even be stacking up to get a little bit aggressive.
What are they bringing in? I'm only seeing a Sheriff so far for Ban, and that's it, so...
Just going to stun off and try and swing this.
Do well on the stun.
Smoggy.
Okay, well, this round's all but over, isn't it? Sire player just sitting up towards the site, gonna hear these steps. How much damage can one man do? Smoggy is low, so I guess there's a chance he could do something towards that. Plant's gonna come in. That's now down. Smoggy get caught up here. Already 2 big kills. There it is. First, any more? No, not to be. So EDG keeping it clean, but looks like T1 were willing to brawl on it.
Trying to get something done here early on, but EDG previously, I mean actually versus T1 as well, constantly stacked up. Chichu, yes, disconnecting in a couple of these early defaults, but it'll be difficult for T1 to really get anything going in that regard.
I'm scared of seeing Smoggy's ult so close, but and especially on a map like Fracture, that feels like a given. Try and do that in the bonus. That's going to put T1 right under the gun now.
That lineup is ridiculous.
Wow.
T1 stacked up outside, well, towards A main here. EDG creeping in Dish. Not going to be any utility here with Munchkin rotating across towards B site. Sire has deep control towards main. Trailblazer ready to go as soon as the smoke drops, I imagine.
Trying to fold on this. Paint shell to go through, but it's a 1-for-1 trade out. Can they escape in time? And here comes the pressure from the other side. Dropping down by Dish. Sight's going to be theirs. EDG looking to try and retake this fight. Zeta, though, lovely little hold there. Going to try and keep some composure, but look who's hunting him. Gunkang already there. Makes light work of one, and the follow-up from Smoggy makes this comfortable as T1 crumbling under this. That ult came on perfectly. The crunch to follow as well. And T1 looking for miracles from Munchkin. And he's got a clear sight first, and the cross will be watched too. No utility, spotted, chipped down, dealt with. EDG converting bonus too.
A huge financial cushion now created. I think even previously, I believe Kankang, we saw that Bladestorm round 2 orb farm. In a similar situation to start off the first half here, but a round in hand. T1 tried to get a little proactive, and even though I was saying it before this round, they actually identify the weaker side of this default. But the pinch comes through perfectly. EDG just flood out of drop all the way into the backside of main. There's nothing really T1 can do in that situation.
T1 left shattered a little here. Seeing Stingers, Marshall, Sheriffs, bits and bobs. It'll be a rough one to try and do some damage on.
Well, last time, I believe we saw T1 revert very quickly back towards just focus on retakes. Whether or not this is the same sort of thing they're going to test early on. Light investment here, Stingers, some Sheriffs, and a Marshal, but...
Chichu's timing here. Munchkin once again. Yeah, feeling a little bit of that. Again, they are on a bit of a half buy, if anything. Gonna deny the initial plant, that's not bad. Maybe allow that smoke to dissipate slightly further, give them a chance to do some damage on the way back out from it. This time though, plant goes in. Smoke should be fading soon enough, but for now, they at least get a little bit of cover to play behind EDG.
Actually, what damage is possible here, to be honest. Carpe tagged up. Can go swing onto this fight too.
One enemy remains.
Just a formality at this point. On clean-up duty, there will be a Prime Gaming flawless here. I believe we did see a very early timeout as well from T1. And like I said, that was when you saw the switch. Conceding a lot of space, they didn't want to get proactive and happy to actually stack up, play numbers in a retake.
Gotta start seeing a little bit more from T1 here. Feeling like the understatement of the century, but they haven't been particularly doing much damage either. So far, side player 2 kills and he's leading the board. So need to get a little more active in this one. EDG kind of walking through the matchup so far. Converting the bonus obviously is the dream effect. Having that ult ready to go in that time, also fantastic. See what they bring in this time around. EDG slow and cautious to challenge towards A. This puts a lot on Ban here.
He's fairly committed as well. Very deep position. EDG looking to slow things down. What's an anticipation of T1 flipping the switch and getting a little more aggressive? I mean, it is the heavier stack this side, but man, swings up to 2, Kang will punish.
And that's the first pick found, and still above a minute.
So many options.
Exactly, that's a great outcome for EDG. The patience going to pay off here.
I've got your trail.
And we know they can play that fast pace if necessary. So Renee's going to at least slow down the ability to springboard off the back of those Seekers, but they're still going to try and forge that path through. Munchkin forced to rescind quite far back. He could be hunting down here, but Chichu actually just missing that window of opportunity, but he could catch Sire player potentially. Did continue along that path, but with the spike now down, T1, let's see if they look better in these retakes. Already Zeta going to find Howdong. That's not a bad beginning.
Sorry, should swing onto this. Yeah, Chichu actually able to get away, and a little bit of a missed opportunity, Lauren.
Certainly is. But look who's on the site. Not anymore. Massive from Zeta. That's a big step. More. They've got it. Munchkin to find nobody. They're doing exactly what they needed. The change up here from T1, seeing a little deeper, even after losing out that first player. Diffuse is already towards halfway. Nothing to deny it now. Beautiful. Excellent round from Zeta. And exactly what the doctor ordered for T1. Mike, I think they heard you there. Changing up for that retake rather than those early challenges, maybe excluding Ban.
I was going to say, yeah, and this is after conceding the first blood. The aftershock seemed a million miles off here from Smoggy. Very strange to see, but T1 on the back of Zeta execute this game plan perfectly. Curious if that's actually now something T1 will latch onto. Problem being, Kang now has an operator and the Blade Storm available.
Yeah, this guy is terrifying. I think we all know that by now. Have to see what he can achieve in this. That slow style does give him a little more room to play as well. I doubt Ban's going to be readdressing any of that aggression he ran with last round, and that's a very early investment of the ult. And it's all for nobody. Who's come out of this and still standing, still just fine. Hold on! This is a mistake from T1, almost losing everything. And while this happened, they took towards the site. EDG looking towards the B site already. A little bit of a trade, yes, but they get themselves Spike ready in hand. Maybe a plant to be tested soon. And a player advantage at this point is massive as well.
Zeta and Carpe left to try and recover this. So we've got some utility to work with. Chichu tapping the spike. Molly will land. It won't force Chichu out of position though. Still a safe plant.
Spike planted.
So I'm looking at the timing for Kang at this point, but Zeta going to take those first couple of steps. He wants to go quick. Try and get ahead of the lockdown, and he can't. Chichu greets him with a smile. Kang will lose his life, but it's Chichu on the counter swing to be just perfectly positioned. EDG, again, answering back here.
And again, Sire spots nobody here outside Dish, and very quickly T1 make a decision to try and isolate him with the Rolling Thunder, but I don't think either player actually positions anti-flash, which means nobody actually punishes on the back of that investment, on the back of further T1 aggression.
I'm a little worried seeing T1 here. I want to see a timeout soon. If they can't correct now, I want to see the pumping of the brakes.
I mean, you got lots of tools now. Obviously, Rolling Thunder invested, but everything else available. It's gone popped here for Ban, but removed immediately.
That's heartbreak for Ban. He is being bullied around this map. Wow, player. There's so many players waiting for this.
Flash through.
Anything? Okay. It's still favorable traits for EDG. They still hold 4-3. Munchkin, oh, you're very fortunate to be standing. Chi-Chu waiting, foiled. Oh, it's just perfect. EDG are outclassing T1 in this. Looking a little behind the curve as Carpe and Zeta need to try and get a move on if they want to try and catch him in the heels, but the opportunity's dwindled already. The plant's going to be theirs. Time's going to be on their side.
EDG are just so quick to react and set up some of these pinches. I think T1 are feeling like, because Kankang has the operator, that's where the stack is, the heavier side of this default, which is why they look to get aggressive outside Dish, but it's another example of EDG almost baiting T1 into a false sense of security. And I'm with you, we need to see a timeout, how we do need to see an adjustment.
This is T1's pick. If you're just tuning in, didn't see the veto. Fracture was their first choice, really. This is what they've lent towards, feeling this was their best opportunity. And EDG have come out swinging. This has looked extremely comfortable. If we're kind of talking, you know, let's say consideration from last game to this one when they faced off, not the one in between, EDG, if not, look, you know, fantastic. They're much better. Confidence is there. We, you know, kind of discussed the idea of, you know, how's that momentum going to look? How's that confidence going to look? It suits them beautifully. Cutting a fantastic figure with them now. Money swelled to a brilliant point. I'm looking for the timeout. I think it's come in for T1 here. They still have a lot of kit to play with, at least in the form of the ults. So they could have something to lean into here. But it's not just that. It's
these rounds aren't
across the board.
These rounds aren't getting to the point where ults become the deciding factor for T1 there. I believe last time they actually won out in terms of their defensive half on First Bloods. Now this, a stark contrast to that. And I gotta say, there's some situations where it's reminiscent of Pearl, where there's not much utility invested towards these openers. Sire's not necessarily supported. Ban, unfortunately, getting slapped about in terms of opening peaks here.
Ban's on 0-7 currently. And look, sometimes you have a bad game. That's what it is, but you want to see him doing a little bit more than that. Again, kind of when we first looked towards T1 as a team, we kind of discussed how Ban was that confidence player. Him having this start is actually extremely worrying. This could really hinder his progress going forward. This could be something we look at, you know, does this continue throughout the series? Does he get a nice little change up? Does that mental get switched into effect later on? Beyond that, but to be completely honest though, I wouldn't say this is just a, you know, Ban having a bad map, you know, being completely influential to the outcome. Everyone from T1 is struggling to find impact here against EDG. This has to be a whole ethos rework, complete change up here. Let's see what the timeout has achieved. So they're going to go back in with a little bit of kit, not fully situated, but looking like they're going to try and buy around whatever they can.
Yeah, Bulldog in the hands of Munchkin. Rifles for Cyan, Ban. It's a Sheriff here for Zeta, and that's just a full shield for Carpe.
Look at nobody. It's just drifting.
He's literally just walking up to challenge the smoke. I mean, Sire luckily has read it with the boom bot. I don't know if maybe he saw something on the edge of that smoke, maybe a minimap ping, but again, it's just one player of EDG. Yeah. Look how much respect he is commanding on the minimap. There's 4 people here from T1 fixated on this position now.
I think they're starting to read into it though a little bit. They started to consider that rotation, 2 of them kind of drifting back through CT, but see how close EDG are to just kind of springboarding onto that B site. Kankang already starting to take those first couple of tentative steps, but we know the player who's here on the other side is going to be Munchkin. Sat pretty deep. No one's actively challenging this.
Maybe looking for a retake here of the showstopper, the orbital strike, and the lockdown. This doesn't come through just yet.
Lucky to be breathing. Kankang wants this pick. Waits for 3, pulls the trigger, doesn't get anyone on the other side. There's the lockdown. So they have a lot of tools here, Mike. Do they get the chance to even
Nobody's
use them?
reflanking.
This is dirty.
He's coming back towards spawn.
This is dirty work.
Molly will buy time here while the lockdown goes down.
There's
Chichu
no-
has 2 nanny swarms, but nobody is aware of this.
How much can this one man do? He's closing the gap. They're going to be crossing towards the side. KanKang is holding them in position. The flank's going to be there in a moment's time. There it is between the two of them. It's deadly. And now Sideplayer and Munchkin have no good options. So many players to find, and none of them falling. EDG are just miles ahead of T1.
The perfect storm, honestly. The timing here of the Molly, I don't even know when the penny drops for nobody. To reflank back through Dish there. But nobody from T1 considered the possibility. Just so happens, KanKang will still go. I mean, he's good for 3.
Of course he is.
Still in this situation. Yeah, EDG in total control.
That was kind of a half buy, so I guess, but still, they invested behind it. This is the buy that they're going to be hopefully making some impact on the board. We have the operator out for ban. Need to see T1 come online, because this is tragic so far. Getting bullied around this map.
One thing EDG are really good at, in terms of early round indicators, they're so good at switching up who takes first contact, who shows first presence. So T1 are left scratching their heads of where KanKang is, where's the operator.
Look at the amount of freedom he's got
Yeah.
here as well. Even the fact that he's got this far with feeling no pressure certainly gives you a couple of answers to the questions you may have, and T1 sitting a little deeper. They do have a player watching it! Bloody hell!
He's so quick.
He's actually nuts, isn't he? A real treat to watch throughout all of the games. Ban now has to be prepared. Flash going to force him off the angle. Has to fall away. And the pace has just changed here. They're allowing time for KanKang just to take those steps around the map. He's got that first pick again. They are down to about 35 seconds, though, so they will have to lean in towards one of these 2 sites.
I mean, T1 have the correct read here, though, that KanKang's found the pick, and they're going to drift back towards B, but this B site setup will be tested once again. And Sideplay just none the wiser.
Oh, but Munchkin is on the case this time, going to find 2. 17 seconds now. Spike not on the site. This could be the first big round for T1 to win in some time. And Carpe wants to do it himself. 10 seconds now. All down to Chichu, and this is tough. Ban still standing. Munchkin just around the corner. Spike's down. But so is Chichu. T1 finally get another on the board.
How many of those sorts of rounds, though, can T1 pull off? And they have to win a couple more to chip away at this cushion that EDG have. And Carpe goes huge here with the walk out of the smoke. Rewarded with 2, but again, bigger picture. Is that sustainable? Is that the sort of game that T1 want to play here on Fracture? Still got the showstopper, still got the orbital strike. But EDG building back into a couple of big ultimates themselves. One off the lockdown as well.
Look at this again, nobody trying to sell him something over towards A, but I'm looking at KanKang here trying to make progress. Arcade the first port of call. Munchkin tucked behind the box, not wanting to take any of that fight.
How deep does KanKang actually go here? There's no second peek behind Munchkin. Ban has his sights set towards main. Looks like EDG are actually stacking up here to pop on the back of this.
Well, Ban's done well. And actually Munchkin does incredibly well, still to find 1. Takes down Haldong, that's not bad. Ban starting to activate a little, needs to fall away, has to go up the site. EDG going to take a little bit of that room the other side. Now,
Nobody's creeping on this.
Yeah, hold on. It is a beautiful flash through the smoke. Ban gets punished for lingering just a little bit further ahead. Sideplayer might have the timing right, might not. Gorgeous adjustment. Nobody's gone down. But it is this man, the one and only, standing tall and taking 1. Falls away, finds safety. He's going to dip back in. He wants a bit of it, doesn't he? You can tell he wants it. He's waiting, though. 2 already this round. We'll need 4. Here's the steps. And waits, and waits, and waits a second too long. Sideplayer will find him, move him, give T1 a little bit of a window.
Even in that situation there, nobody's happy to get aggressive on that smoke, paying no respect to T1.
Get out of my way! got your...
And even here, Ban digging pretty deep, actually. To find this kill onto Chichu. 7-3 now. Again, well, Kang buying the operators down to 200 credits now overall, but still some big ultimates to work with. Should be pretty comfortable for the next. I'm curious actually of what adjustment we see coming out of this timeout.
Yeah. One away from the lockdown for Munchkin, that could be something to keep in mind throughout this, but yeah, they still have a good couple of these ults to play with. Haven't seen much chance to really use them at this point, so might be able to bring something out. I'm looking at Kang actually not seeing him run the operator here. Might have switched that out. Again, this is during the timeout, so maybe discussing their options.
Yeah, potentially here to make use of a Rolling Thunder, and actually they want to get
Behind.
Kang now deep onto site. Maybe leans towards looking back at A side potentially.
Back on the operator.
Back on the operator, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just...
They talked him out of it.
Yeah, we did see him kind of switch away from it. I think it was like an OT, and it felt like, oh, if only he'd stuck on it. But yeah, sticking on the operator there, it feels like they were maybe considering, as you highlighted, working with one of those ults, maybe a little bit more pacey, but he feels he can still be as influential with that operator, sure.
I will say that obviously playing the rifle in this round does protect that round 12 purchase, so
True.
have to see what gap there is, if any, after this.
Yeah, big investment, but a big player behind it, so see what he can do for it. For starters, a little bit of noise made towards B, flash there.
Yeah, strange actually,
About
because
it.
the stim beacon's thrown down by Howdong. Trying to fake heavy presence here towards B site and fake off this lockdown, but Carpe will be able to remove it.
Actually, just seeing Carpe kind of drift back towards A as well. I think they're reading this quite nicely.
Absolutely, and look at Ban's position as well. He's all the way out of Dish.
But it will be a retake. There's no way they challenge on this, right? I'm not worried if they drift further committed towards the side, but no, they're going to keep this one a little in check, allow EDG those precious steps towards the side to get the plant down on A. Kang just going to be on that defensive duty, trying to watch anyone trying to peek through that smoke. Oof. Lucky to be alive.
Howdong does burn up the molly as well. I was curious to see if he actually resets all the way towards main here to make use of that. No way, it's Chichu coming to reflank back behind drop once again.
It looks like he's going to try to. Sire player looking for the impact, but the flashes are just everywhere. He's so blind in this. Unable to really shut down towards it. Unable to close down towards it. But Ban's there, Carpe's there. Howdong's still on the side, did get healed up, so he's still holding a good bit of ground. Couldn't get the other fight. It's all down to that wrap, that flank, that Chichu position. Halfway achieved. Munchkin trying to play the time, trying to play the man, and Ban going to keep him dead in this. Lovely work from T1. A much different approach into this now.
Great read on the fake, and as well, what worked for them last time was setting up for these retakes and having bodies to throw at it. Finally see the showstopper invested as well. Didn't amount to much, but cleared a lot of space, and luckily Ban actually regroups here with the rest of T1. He's not punished by this reflank from Chichu. So 3 unanswered. Coming to last, again, because of the plant. We'll be able to get rifles across the board here for EDG. And give it a chance, but doesn't catch nobody.
Well, this time. And it looks like Kang already eyeing up that B site. Let's see who's here, though. Sire player doing his best turret impression.
What's tough here is if T1 feel as if they want to lean towards retakes, Howdong potentially has the molly and the orbital strike here.
I like this timing, though, as well. Just seeing nobody, once again, kind of investing utility a little later into the round, around that 1 minute. Just keeping those 3 players present. Kang going to get towards the site. Overwhelms. Munchkin's gone down. Now he looks at who else was here. Sire player, only good for 1. It's actually Kang to get him 2, so Plant's going to come in. 4v3, man advantage here to EDG.
No flank once again. It's all coming through spawn here. Chichu will find Carpe. It's only Zeta and Ban left to try and recover now. Couple of flashes to work with, but Zeta stuck on an operator.
Yeah, not
a tall order, Lauren.
Not easy at all. Ban gonna try and get across towards the site maybe. But the flashes are there, and so's this man. He wants to end it in style, get this half done with. Oh, okay. Smoggy's got him. Don't worry. Smoggy's there. So a little bit of a kind of reminder of EDG's, I guess, capability of pace towards the end there. But it felt like this half was just 2 streaks. Yes, I'd say EDG came out the better of that, of course, with 8 rounds to their name, but kind of hot and cold a little throughout this.
I mean, thank God T1 got 4, to be honest. Very one-sided affair to start things off. But a massive lead for EDG to work with moving into the second half. I mean, last time this was 6-6.
Yeah, very different look between these two now. EDG maybe keeping that momentum in mind, working their way forward. This is looking much better from them, at least if you're looking pound for pound in that previous matchup. But that's our thoughts. What about the desk?
Thank you very much, Pansy and Hypoc. Yes, a massive improvement. And Kukuka, a lot of that came down to some of the cool nitty-gritties we saw from EDG.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to take a look at one of the rounds that we saw from them, especially round number 3. This is a bonus for them. So if we jump into it right away, I wanted to show how this round is all about the assisting. It's all about the control that comes from the other side. Actually, it's a round that revolves around Smoggy. He's 1 orb away from having his ultimate, and that is something that we can see just setting up how they want to play this round. We can see in the minimap that they're already moving towards Dish to grab that orb. From then on, they can choose what to do. They can decide how they're going to go onto the side. From the side of T1, though, we see that they're already ready to just have some pressure on A-hole to prevent this kind of things from happening, knowing that your breach is playing from sand. This is a play that we've seen time and time again. And if we play the clip, we can see how all of this is going to unravel. We see that they've put this smoke that is going to, you know, and not allow EDG to have that vision, and the support is going to come through. EDG gets that orb, that ult is going to be ready for Smoggy, and all this utility dumping comes from the other side, comes from T1. That second stun that we're seeing here, supporting EDG from mid-map, is from Smoggy. They're already running onto side. The plant is going to be secured, and it is a very clean round. And that is so important because getting the bonus grants you that economical superiority and also comfort moving into the rest of the half.
And I think that's what defined EDG's play in that first half, was their reactions and how good they were from this squad. But T1 did rally back, and it came down to their retakes. At the first part of the half, they were too heavily committing to playing on site and really getting punished by those executes. And when they were going for those forward plays, getting punished as well. But the retakes were working. They found the adaptation. The question is, do they have another answer into the second half?
Yeah, and the question is for EDG, Pansy and Hypoc, can they close this one out convincingly?
I think that little caveat at the end there, Sue, is actually quite important, is convincingly. Yes, this is T1's map pick, but with 4 rounds, I'm not loving what we've seen from them so far. Yes, there was a little bit of a resurgence towards the end, but overall, it wasn't ideal. However, EDG, a little more convincing in their current form.
Sure, and EDG are actually demonstrating here they can slow down the tempo and still work the map on a macro level that really T1 are unable to find the response to. Kang here. Maybe a minimap moment there. He's looking elsewhere, but Smoggy there to back him up.
Yeah. Gonna keep themselves healthy in this with 4 to the 3. The remaining 3 held back behind the smoke. This is gonna be a horrible way out. Smoggy turns the flash just perfectly. Stunning from Smoggy, and EDG will be grinning with that one.
Very quickly a chance for EDG to get themselves onto double digits here. Clean work from Smoggy. I'm curious in terms of the early round, if T1 are happy to try and identify the whereabouts of Kang, maybe wait out some utility here, or they're happy to just stack up and go for some of these executes. Again, pistol round, not necessarily an indicator for how the buy rounds will go. See 4 people across the dish here. Maybe want to set the tone, or at least imply that there's going to be heavy pressure here.
I don't think anyone cared, though.
No.
He's like, cool, I'll put a flash there. Nice. That's about all they did. Second flash, we'll identify side player. I don't know how many obviously are behind that. And T1 not being particularly subtle, just maybe taking the tour for the orbs if they can. That'll be maybe on the list. Munchkin, gotta be cautious here, could easily go down. But now he's just gonna try and play on that corner. See who's prowling on the other side. Kang is there. Just about to drift away, though, not really feeling that presence. And the second attempt at drawing attention towards Dish is going to warrant a response. Smoggy, not really bothered by Munchkin here. Speaking of unbothered, oh, this man, just nasty with it. This is against pistols, though, so this won't be in the highlight reel, but it will be the 10th for EDG.
An answer back from T1, and we need it quick. 6 rounds separating them. They didn't even stack up orbs. I'm not even sure who took the second outside arcade here, so nothing to latch onto in terms of this first ult cycle.
What's the bonus looking like? What do we have? Okay.
I mean, it looks good because Kankang's 2 off Bladestorm.
That does look
In
right.
my eyes, that's a good setup for EDG.
Oh, I saw a Bucky for a second. He opted against it. Unfortunate.
Oh, what's unfortunate is Munchkin solo on the other side of this outside of arcade. Kankang looks like he might just play a deeper position here off the Nano Swarm.
Okay.
Ton of information from Chichu.
Can they deal with it, though? T1 will be outgunning them here, but already Chichu actually going to connect well. And it's how long to swing! Oh, this is tragic from T1. Crumbling under the pressure from EDG. We've got a boatload of upgrades now, and Munchkin is left reeling off of that.
So, whether or not he can catch the timing here on the first, yes, but 4 left to find. Chichu down to 10 HP. Nobody, though.
His timing
on the
these
reflank,
flanks.
yeah.
He's such a little rat the way he plays. It's so good. Look at him. There's no way you get around it. That's a rifle, a nice little reward for him as well. And EDG are just playing a much better game here. T1 look hesitant. They're not looking like they did before. They haven't had that spark to ignite them yet. Conversion of the bonus here has just made matters worse.
Yeah, so Chichu even stands his crown versus ban, where he's almost like isolated.
Enemy remaining.
The EDG so much happier to absorb these side hits, and it's not even a scrap. It's just EDG swing all at the same time, and T1 are overwhelmed. They haven't got any tangibles. There's no comfort in terms of finding an engagement towards any player of EDG.
Yeah, and look, I think we've noted this from that first time they met up. When EDG are playing, you know, out of this world, we'll absolutely give them credit. But we have to also identify that T1 look very flat here. Not having that same capability we saw in those first matchups, even that little bit of a spark against NRG, for example. They just look a little out of this game, not looking ready for this map at all. And I hate going to those intangibles of confidence, momentum. It's such, you know, wishy-washy phrasing, but I mean, EDG have it in droves, apparently. Whatever it is, they're confident, they're playing together, they are completely and utterly outdoing T1. This hasn't been a competitive game.
I mean, let's not forget as well that there was a match in that NRG series where it was on the back of ban. It was T1 were only still in the map because of ban.
Yes.
It was very top-heavy in here. Unfortunately, we haven't really got anybody from T1 standing tall in terms of the numbers, in terms of visible impact in some of these rounds. Unfortunately, an 8-4 half, we didn't see an early response here from T1. Will force a purchase here. Gaps in utility, 4 Bulldogs.
Gaps in armor.
Yeah.
Oh, this uncomfortable watching if you're a T1 fan. And this matchup just not quite delivering to the same expectation. Again, credit to EDG in that regard. They are playing beyond expectation, I guess. But T1, I want to see more from them.
We're going to run it down here.
Yep, looks pacey. Van quickly going to make his way through sand. Oh, lovely start. That's the beginning. Is he going to wake up here? Nobody's gone down as well. This is much better from T1. Pacey, filled with intent. And EDG left with 2, Chichu and Haodong. Looking at Chichu's positioning here, don't think he's going to be able to get anywhere near enough in time to make any problems for that plant, but that's a shot. Hold on. We're down to a 2v2 now. Van making this look almost worrying for T1 with him falling. Oh dear, what is going on? Munchkin traded back out a 1v1 now. Chichu up against Munchkin. Chichu getting a little closer here. Munchkin waiting. Gonna hear these steps, gonna note those shots. And he waits, he better hit this shot. Chichu closing the gap now, the tag! And he's got him!
Chichu spams the pre-fire and then swings onto it. I think Munchkin even eats a headshot on that first spam.
It looks like it. Oh dear. And that was the best round we'd had yet. I thought that could have been the instigating round that maybe got
Pace
them
change looked beautiful for T1.
confident, powerful to it.
Yeah.
You take them when you get them.
And the one thing EDG don't need in this map so far is freebies like that.
Yeah.
The coin flips go in their way as well.
Oh dear. Operator out. How much is in the tank for T1?
Looking to continue with this pace, looking to pinch on
Well-
that side here, but Kankang in the backlines, he's found Munchkin. Look at where that kill is.
I know, I just said how far has he gone exploring for this? T1 looking to try and be aggressive on it, but EDG still holding so much of that territory. How long going to send Carpe away? Sire players, Zeta and Ban, the only three alive. And it's for more for how long than anything. Kankang is on the hunt. He wants blood. He's out for it. Ban puts him to bed, but it's all on Ban and it's all but done. EDG stormed through Map1. T1 shattered by that form.
Can barely hold a light up against EDG, to be honest with you. Playing a totally different tempo than they did the other day. Like I said, T1 just didn't have, examples of rounds that felt sustainable,
None.
that felt repeatable for them.